Hey there, welcome to video 2 for the 79-year-old improve his vertical leap. Tell you a little bit about what's happened the last 2 weeks with some workouts. Then we're going to finish this thing up with can he dunk on an 8-foot hoop?
8-foot rim, 79-year-old man. Hey!
Episode 2. We didn't know if there'd be an episode 2 originally because I thought there'd be 137 people watch this thing. I'm the 70-year-old guy who wants to improve his vertical leap. If you want to know why, how this came about, watch the first video. That was recorded 2 weeks ago when we did that massive 11-inch off-the-ground jump. And this is what I did. I kind of made this up, and I think going forward we're going to change it a little bit. Obviously, I did squats. I did squats with weights for a little more resistance. I did what I call pogo jumps, two-legged pogo jumps. I also did jumps where I bent my knees with 40 pounds on each arm. Instead of being 189 pounds, I was, 239 pounds. I did calf stretches. I did toe raises. Did farmer's carries. That was mainly it.
And how do you feel after doing these exercises since not doing any legs before this?
I don't feel a lot different, but I got to tell you, on Saturday, I was doing the workouts in my basement, and the basement is got a thin carpet on it, but it's concrete. The jumping on concrete is not as comfortable as jumping on a wooden floor. Saturday, I went out and I did it on the deck. That was a little bit of a harder workout. I woke up Sunday morning, I could feel it. So I know that it's having an effect, but overall, I didn't feel like I was going to be able to jump out of the gym. The big thing for me is going to be not trying to push it and go too far, too fast, which is kind of my nature. And I think that could possibly lead to injury. Personally, I think I got to make hay in like the next year. There's going to be a peak, and we don't know what that peak is, and then we'll go backwards. Now, I personally don't believe if you're 79, you cannot improve your strength. I think you can improve your strength, and I've done that lifting weights. I got back seriously in December, and I'm able to lift more weights than I was in December without straining myself. So I think I'm going to get some results, but it's too early to tell. I'd like to think if I worked out for 2 weeks, I'd be able to go up there and grab the rim. That's not reality. I think what we're going to do now, we're going to magically go out on the court and do a vertical jump test and just see what happens. I haven't done this 2 weeks ago. That was it.
Before that, when do you think the last time you jumped up and saw how high you could go?
Maybe 2011, a customer gave me a PBX 90 or something workout, and there was a vertical leap on that, and I checked it jumping against the wall in the bedroom, and I was 19 inches.
Okay.
But I have no baseline.
Maybe that's what we'll shoot for. That'll be like our next goal.
I think if I get 19, I'm to the board.
Let's see, where's that up there? That's right there. Let's see. It's around 20, so real close.
My head says 20 inches is not a very good vertical leap.
But you're 79 years old, you need to remember that.
My mind's probably 41.
Okay.
Went down with a hit. Didn't touch it.
I think you're getting closer to like 13 area.
It looks like 13 inches. And we did determine that we have to have a better camera set up. We don't have a bunch of equipment, all right? I mean, this is...
Filming off 2 iPhones here.
This is just my old home office. There was a little bit of improvement, maybe. I didn't feel real bouncy. When I was young, there were days when I felt really bouncy. The last time, 47 degrees, went outside. I think I jumped a few times, and then we did 3 or 4 attempts. It was chilly, and I didn't warm up. This time, I did about 3 minutes on a Schwinn Airdyne just to get my legs warmed up, and I stretched some. I think going forward, I don't want to get hurt, and I think if I don't do it right, I'm going to build the strength in my legs. I might get my vertical, and I might get hurt on the landing. My thinking right now is I'm going to concentrate on stretching. I don't want to tear up an Achilles tendon. I think it's getting your mind trained to what you're doing physically. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on the landing, and a lot of the comments were about the landing. Knees over toes guy said jumping is a great way to get hurt if you don't get ready for it. I'm going to work on strengthening my knees so I don't get ahead on the jump and then injure myself either going up or going down. Now yesterday, Zach, he's my director, he said, here's what we got to do. Of course, I think he's nuts. He said, we got to go somewhere and lower the board where it's an 8-foot rim. I thought, that doesn't make any sense to me, So we drove around the neighborhood. Most of them were adjustable. They were freestanding, and they were on a driveway that maybe wasn't level, and you could see where the adjustments were. It was rusty. I said, no. And he said, let's go to the Y. And I'm thinking, they're going to say, you guys are crazy, Well, they were very open to it. And I said, if we become famous, you'll become famous. So we did it. Went to the gym and gave it a shot.
So we made it to the local YMCA. We convinced them to lower the hoops to about 8 foot. Just do like your standing reach. You're about 7.5 feet. Decent amount of way to go. How about you go up and touch the rim? Just get used to the motion. There you go.
I'm not going to be able to dunk on that.
Okay, you're just getting used to it though, just feeling it out. Is it awkward doing it or?
Yeah, I was a one-legged jumper.
You're getting wrist over.
Not high enough.
There you go.
There, it's not high enough. Here I am on an 8-foot hoop, and my mind is saying, I ought to be able to flush one down because I knew I could get high enough. But there's more to it than just getting high enough. You know, you got to get the ball down at the right time. And to tell you the truth, it was a little awkward. I've not been jumping up and hitting the rim for several years. And Zach said, let's find something that you can dunk.
You want a dunking item? There you go. Just get the motion down and then maybe we could work our way up. This could be our first. There you go.
I can dunk a wallet.
Well, let's get another one. Just repetition, getting the motion down. There you go. See, that dunk looks a lot better than with the ball. With the ball, it's like you're not approaching the rim fully, which I don't blame you.
Probably afraid of rim stuff.
Yeah, rim stuff could be catastrophic. 8-foot rim, 79-year-old man. Oh, that wasn't bad. That was your best attempt.
But what was interesting, when we go to the gym, a guy walks in. He looks like he's probably late 30s or maybe 40 years old. We struck up a conversation with him. He pointed to Zachary and he said, sports science works on these guys. You go online, you're going to find videos of jumping or whatever. They're all young kids. He said, we don't do enough for guys like me. And he gave us some really good tips. He said a lot of seniors don't know how to skip.
Skipping is, they say, is just incredible for aging, the coordination, and the explosive movement.
And I said, I can skip. So I skipped up and down the basketball court. And what I found out was it got me on my toes. Here's a little bit of that conversation. Very interesting guy, and I'm going to try to get to know him. Well, you've given me some good ideas. And, you know, the skipping, I can get up on my toes.
It's safer than sprinting or bounding. You can do it every day. You don't need a lot of rest.
I'm going to skip. I'm going to deadlift, and I'll keep doing it.
Usually what they say is the best protocol right here for sprinters and jumpers. 3 deadlifts with intent, pretty heavy. As heavy as you can go without getting injured and being in pain. 1, 2, 3. And then you step immediately when you're done over to the box and do a box jump.
I think next up, I want him to do some layups where he's like finger rolling it like above the rim, just so we can get get that motion above the rim. Just see if you can get your hand above the rim. It could even be like a 2-handed layup.
I don't, man, I feel very uncomfortable.
I mean, that's something. Just a start. Maybe next time we'll bring like a volleyball as well. Oh, does that feel weird?
Yep, that's all right.
What about a layup off 2, just putting it against the glass? What about one jumping as high as you can, just off 2? Because like on your dunk attempts, you got to like up high on your wrist, like around like here, right?
Right here.
But like you're 2 foot, maybe getting up to like here on those layups, just off 2, jump as high as you can. There you go. Your hands at least parallel with the rim.
Yeah, I mean, this feels awkward, right?
Yep.
I'm going to try to do it a different way.
Oh, it's not bad. Rolled in, that's 2 points.
You know what that was? You don't have to get quite as high.
Just maybe like a couple more inches. I think that's a good, reasonable next goal.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Ooh,
We owe these people with debt of gratitude.
you're almost there. You're
Get it tonight. I can touch the rim, Mom.
yeah, let's just get a couple rim touch attempts to see how high he could. Oh yeah. There you go. I think within maybe a couple weeks,
I hope.
I think that's
I can touch the net.
that's manageable.
When we have chocolate malt.
Oh yeah.
And then the more I did, the better off I did, and I was able to get high enough. I think in retrospect, it was a very good idea. And I might even join the Y for a couple of months to do more of that. Because if I went skipping around the neighborhood, they'd probably think I'm weird enough.
Rather do it around a track, and then
I'd rather do it around a track where there's other weird people there, right?
and then maybe you could get that 1 foot jumping a little bit better.
That is a goal. Didn't know how to do that. I think skipping is going to be a step toward doing that. And it's also going to get me up on my toes, so when I begin to do a little running, it's not going to be heel first. It's going to be on my toes. But I think the stretching is going to be important so I don't hurt myself running or even skipping. It was a good session at the Y.
Next time, we're going to bring some smaller balls, maybe volleyball, golf ball, tennis ball, get those down, and then maybe with a little bit of warm-up, we should be able to get one down after like 2 weeks of a little bit more work, or even if we don't, that's fine, but that's the next goal.
I don't think there'd be any problem putting the volleyball down, and then I think that would build the the confidence, and then maybe could go to the basketball and just get it down. It's height and timing and letting go of the ball and everything else. And I really believe it's your mind and your body protecting itself too. If I jump off boxes and I get my landing down to where that's very normal, I think my body will kind of release a little bit of energy to get down.
Let's nail a jump shot before we head out of here. 3-pointer, you got it in you?
That looks real high.
Oh, another manette. There we go. Good one to end on.
That's kind of where we are. Next couple weeks, maybe a little bit less intense with the weights and work on the stretching and go from there. There's been a lot of good recommendations coming in on the comments. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to be the guy that recommends things, but I can tell you this. If you're getting to the age where you're ready to retire, don't stop moving. This is not a full-time endeavor for me. I got a yard to take care of. I got projects I'm working on. I'm a busy guy. It's not like this is my life. So I have to work this in, but I do need to be careful that I am smart and I don't injure myself. Then I couldn't do my regular stuff. Some guy said, this has inspired me. I'm going to get off my rear end and I'm going to go to work, and I'm only 47 or I'm only 35. Now I feel the goal was not to inspire people to do things, but if that's happening, I'm all for it. I think we should take care of ourselves. And if you didn't see episode 1, you want to go back and check it out. It gives a little bit of history. There will be a link. I can't do that link, but
I'll set it up. It'll be
Zachary's
popping up
going
on
to
the
set it
screen.
up. I got a guy that knows what he's doing.
And if you're watching this video in the future, I'll have the episode 3 popping up as well.
There will be a third one. I think it's going to be probably every 10 days to 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in. This is Charlie saying, see you later.